Hello, Booktube. I'm here doing my very first tag video, and for those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of Have you ever gotten one of those chain messages in the mail or on email, more like because we live in the modern day, and it says if you don't send this, then you will die a horrible, painful death. You'll be run over by a truck. Um, Someone's gonna kill you, whatever. But if you do send this, you get your first kiss by a true love, and your day's been great. So yeah, this is not one of those things, although it does work as a chain message. So the idea of a tag is that it's a series of questions that someone will make, and the idea is they tell someone else to answer them after they answer them, and it keeps going on and on and on. And so I was tagged by another booktuber named Daniel Greene. He's my favorite booktuber. Actually, well, the only two I follow. And as kind of a nice little way to run my channel, actually, he tagged me. And the tag is the Giving Tag. It was created by Elliot Brooks, and it's done to support a charity called Save the Children. I don't really have any money to donate to it, but it seems pretty neat. It's a charity where the idea is they help children in developing countries and even the United States achieve human rights. And that sounds pretty nice. So if you guys are interested in donating, they have a website of the same name, so you guys can consider that. But I'm more interested in the questions themselves. And so there's 10 questions. I'm going to be answering each of them, and of course, the theme of them, since it's a giving-related tag, is that all of them are based on giving something. So I'll begin with the first question. What's a book you would give everyone if you could? And that would be, for me, the Encyclopedia of Immaturity. So I read this way back in elementary school, and I've reread it a bunch of times since. And I actually did give it away to my cousins. But it's probably my all-time favorite books, because basically it's this book filled with these fun activities and jokes and just funny pages of random things in general. And I just loved it. I still find it funny today when I look back on it. And the company that made it, Klutz, also made a sequel, the Encyclopedia of Immaturity Volume 3, and another book that's kind of like it called the Klutz Book of Inventions. But yeah, I love the Encyclopedia of Immaturity. And I think even adults would find it very interesting too, or just very funny. So yeah, that would be my book I could give everyone if I could. Question number 2. What's a book you couldn't give a rat's hiney about? And I'm not censoring it. That's actually how it is in the original one, because the creator doesn't swear, so she wanted to say rat's hiney instead of, well, you know. Anyway, that would be, well, here's the thing. So I cared about this in a sense, so it's not out of apathy, but I did not like A Throne of Glass, the first book. I've only read the first book at all. My friend's going to hate me for this. She actually didn't want me to read it because she knew I wouldn't like it, but yeah, it's the first book in a series, and I'm actually planning at some point on continuing it because I've heard that apparently it gets the quality picks up a little bit, or at least a significant amount, around like book 3 or 4. So I will be reading more of it eventually, but definitely not gonna buy any more of them, and I'll get them from like the library. But yeah, it was one of the worst books I've read in a very long time. It was just really, really bad. So yeah, I care about it enough to continue reading, so I'm curious if it gets better. But in terms of quality, yeah, it was just awful. I do not give a rat's tiny about it. So question 3. Given that the holidays are coming up, what's a book you hope someone buys for you? So this is sort of a weird question. I mean, on the other hand, because a lot of my family watches these things, so I feel like it's a little like, oh, give me this thing. No, I don't want to do that. On the other hand, though, is because I have a lot of books on my shelf I have not even read yet, and I need to get cracking on those. I'm trying to clean up my shelf. So this is, I do have an answer though anyway. So this is a book I heard about called The Horse, the Wheel, and Language. I don't remember the author though. But The Horse, the Wheel, and Language is an anthropology book about this author, his theory about how languages spread from the Indo-Aryan region to the steppes to Central Europe. And I remember reading about this in my human geography class when I was in the 9th grade. And I guess that was interesting, but really strikes me as interesting is because it's an anthropology book, and I actually read one of those a while ago called Guns, Germs, and Steel, and I really loved that book. And so this book, I think, was also a New York Times bestseller, and if it's anything like that, I think I'd really enjoy it. So yeah, The Horse, the Wheel, and Language is my answer. Number 4, what's a book or a series you've given up on? I'm going to say The Kingkiller Chronicles, and boy, that's a kind of controversial one. But basically, 2 reasons. One, I think the third one's never coming out, which even if you're a fan of the series, you have to admit kind of is plausible. And the reason I say that is because I think the author actually said when he first started the series that all 3 were done. He just needed minor editing for each. But obviously that was a lie because the third one's it's been like 8 years now. I think book 2 came out in 2008 and 2010. Yeah, so obviously I don't think it's ever getting done. But the second reason is because honestly, I read these a while ago, so I'm not entirely sure my opinion would be now. But I remember loving the first book, but I thought it was very, very disappointed by the second one. It was a big decline in quality, and so little happened in it compared to the first book that I don't think it's even possible to finish the series in 3 books now. Because the series is about a life of a person, and such a small period of their life was actually captured by book 2 that they would need to cram so friggin' much into book 3 because they talk about him doing stuff in the future, and it just might not be possible. I think the author even once said that book 3 wasn't planned to be longer than book 2, which is the only way it could possibly work. And so, yeah, if it's not going to be longer than book 2, and it's going to be shorter, then I don't see at all how this could possibly be finished. So that might even be the biggest reason it's not out. It's just was the author kind of wrote himself into a hole of book 2 because so little happened. It's impossible for him to finish book 3. That's been my theory for a while anyway. But yeah, I've given up on it. Not necessarily because of the... Well, okay, so like, if the book 3 came out, I'd definitely read it out of curiosity. But if it never came out, I would just be fine with that because I was too disappointed by book 2 to care much about what's going. I just don't think it's going to come out. So yeah, Kingkiller Chronicles is a series I've given up on. Question 5. Who's a character you wish an author would give more time to? So this is past tense, I guess, because the series is already finished. But Bauer from The Wheel of Time was my favorite minor character, and I wish he had gotten more screen time. So I'm a big fan of minor characters in books, as characters who only have small roles but are so interesting with their personalities. Bauer I thought was really interesting. He was a spy master in the series, and I think his role kind of declined as the books went on, and I thought he should have been given more screen time, and he should have been given more chances to show how useful his skills are. He was extremely skilled, actually. It's just they rarely showed him, and I was upset about that, actually. So yeah, I wish Bauer from The Wheel of Time had given more screen time. Question 6. Who's a character you wish an author would give less time to? This is a weird answer for me because Wit is actually my favorite character in the Stormlight Archive, but I think he's gotten way too much screen time, and I hope he gets less in the future. The reason why is because I think in book 3 he was overused and too much was revealed about him. And I think that if a character like him is overused, and he's supposed to be a very mysterious character, but if he's overused, he becomes less effective. I hope he's used very sparingly in the future, just like he was in the first book, and he got used a bit more in the second book, and the third book he's used way too much. I hope he gets used way less from now on. Like in book 3, they revealed things about him that I thought should have been spread out over multiple books. I was very disappointed about that. So yeah, he was actually my least favorite in book 3 because of that, which unfortunately he's my favorite in the series as a whole. But yeah, in the future, I hope Wit gets a lot less screen time in Stormlight Archive. Not because I don't like him, but because he's more effective if he gets less screen time. Question 7. If you had to give up almost all of your books, which ones would you keep? I've got 2 actually for that. And it's in the question allows more than 1 anyway, so... First, 9 Stories by J.D. Salinger. So a counselor at a camp actually gave this to me because we had started a camp book club and I was the most devoted member of the club. I don't know what I think of these stories now, because I read them a long time ago, but I was really interested in them at the time, at least. I haven't read the author's other work, that is To Catch a Rye, it's the more famous one, but it has a lot of sentimental value because he actually signed it and it was intended as a gift. And yes, obviously this comes from a high school. It's a high school library book, but I can't give it back now, so yeah, it's just mine. I've had a few books actually that are clearly library books, but I just can't give them back, so yeah. Anyway, this is a lot of sentimental value for me. I would definitely keep it. The other book is one of my favorite books of all time, Castle by David Macaulay. It's a children's book, but it's a very advanced children's book. I read this and I'm not to brag or anything, but I read this in elementary school, and it's about the construction of a fictional castle in Wales. And the idea is to teach children about how castles are built. And I learned a ton about this, and the artwork is just gorgeous. I used to reread it a ton. Maybe I'll read it again in the future. But I think this is the sort of book I think I would save so my kid could have. I love this book. It's just one of the books probably that opened up reading for me when I was younger. Yeah, I would definitely keep this book because it's a huge amount of sentimental value to me. I also read the other books in the series, well, some of them, but this is the one I only own. What's the best book or bookish thing you've ever been given? That would actually, again, be this one, 9 Stories of J.D. Salinger. It has a lot of sentimental value for me, so I'm definitely inclined to choose it. Question 9. What's a book someone gave you that you wish you could give right back? Oh boy. So like the Kingkiller Chronicle answer, this is also a controversial one. So the thing is, I wouldn't actually give it back because I think it'd be insulting, my uncle who gave it to me. But I did not like this book. And so as far as a book I've been given that I didn't like, this one definitely fits the description. I had a lot of issues with this book. I understand why people like it, but I'm in the minority. It's a really, really popular book. And this is very controversial, but I did not like American Gods wouldn't say at all, but I just had a lot of problems with it. So I would I wouldn't give it back because it's insulting, but I was a book that I was received I did not like. So I have to give that away. So, 10, name a time in the book that a character was given something really meaningful. I'm going to go with a book I just read recently, Shroud the Torturer. It's the first book in here. And in the book, a character named Severian is given a sword called Terminus S. And they actually make a reflection on the nature of giving. Because the person who gives it to him, well, Severian's like, I don't deserve this. The person who gives it to him is like, well, that's the point. If you deserved it, it wouldn't be a gift. And that was an interesting philosophical observation about giving. So I would put that as my choice for number 10. In any event, thank you for listening. I can't tag anyone, unfortunately, because I'm not well known enough in the Booktube community to do that. But yeah, hopefully you like, comment, subscribe, and hopefully you watch my other videos. See ya.